Good morning, team. It is Tuesday, October 5th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Amy Kaur, and I'm joined by Kevin Van Eck, and we are live out of the Goose Island office. This week, we are back with another awesome interview. So grab your coffee, your tea, whatever is going to get you going this morning, and let's jump into the latest episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
That's right. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a great interview today coming at you. We're actually heading east into Indianapolis, and it's going to be great because our interviewee, the person we're talking with, actually has a dual role, managing broker and agent working with clients. And we're going to get a great perspective on what it's like to balance both, what it's like in the Indianapolis market, and some other key things that she's learned over her years in the real estate industry.
Yes, Kevin, I am so excited for our guest this morning. She is a ball of energy and she is so much fun to be around. She is one of the main reasons why our Indy partnership is so awesome. So please join me in welcoming Crystal White from @Indy. Good morning, Crystal.
Good morning.
We're super excited to have you here. So thank you for taking the time this morning and sharing coffee with us. Just a quick question. What are you drinking? Is it coffee, a smoothie, tea?
You know, as exciting and fun as I am, sometimes my drink of choice is just not that exciting. Water.
Have to stay hydrated though, right? All right, great. So let's get right into it. Crystal, can you give us a 60-second lowdown on what's happening in the Indianapolis market?
Yes, of course, Kevin. So in Indy, a couple things going on. Number one, for the past 2 years, we have seen a 15% year-to-year price increase. So, and then we're also seeing a shortage of listings, housings available on the market. And one of that, so if a house was worth, let's say $200,000 last couple years ago, today it's likely worth about $260,000. And while that may seem very unsustainable, you have to keep in mind something that everybody doesn't realize is Indianapolis is actually the second most affordable of the 30 biggest markets that we have, the metro markets in our country. And so when you take that and kind of pair it up with the fact that we have a very healthy job market, as well as a growing population, our population's growing quite a bit, it's really kind of a natural progression. Like the prices that we're seeing the increase, it's explainable, it's understandable, but it was a big shock for us. The second thing I would say is just the strategies that buyers are having to do to get their offers accepted are very abnormal. I think that's been that way around the country, but definitely in Indy, it's been very abnormal, but unfortunately, it's the reality of our market right now.
And so what have you seen, like, as it being abnormal, what have buyers been having to do in order to get properties? Because I think, in Chicagoland, we're seeing, something really similar. So would love to kind of get your take on what buyers are doing there.
Yes. So just not even a few years ago, buyers were able to ask sellers to actually help pay closing costs. Well, now they're waiving inspections. They are paying for appraisal gaps. And not to mention, of course, offering a significant amount of money over the listing price. And that's in certain markets, certain price points, it varies a little bit, but overall, those three things are just very common. And what makes it very abnormal is just the fact that the price point, it's for the affordable homes, which is not something that we're typically used to seeing at all in the Indianapolis market.
Wow, I think it's so interesting because, we're seeing that in Chicagoland. So really kind of the idea is we are seeing this momentum of, lack of inventory, pushing pricing up, but then also, putting it in a position where there isn't as much inventory for buyers. So they do kind of have to step it up. So I want to ask you about this because I want to say it was 4 months ago, I went to visit Indy for the first time. And yes, I'm a California native and I moved to Chicago, but I had never been to Indy. And people were laughing at me because I loved the city. It is so cool, has such a great vibe. But I want to hear from you, what is something that you absolutely love about Indy and what should everyone know?
Well, first, I should say one thing I love about you is I'm from California. I did not know that you were from California.
Yes, two California girls moved to the Midwest.
It all
Who would
makes
have
sense
thought?
now. It makes sense. So honestly, that is part of what I love about Indiana. One of the things, having been born in California, raised there part of my life, and then by the way of New Jersey and then Indianapolis, I've been in Indianapolis all of my adult life, so long enough. And it used to be years ago that people would just commonly say, there's not much to do here. It's not much to do here. It's affordable. It's not much to do. And the city has changed so much. It is evolving. The food is amazing. The places to eat, the things to do. You do have to look a little bit. It's not like some big metro cities. You do have to look a little bit, but I will guarantee you this, it's worth looking. It's worth searching. It's a beautiful, clean city. The downtown is very clean and very pretty. And I say that with a lot of pride, having lived and been around a lot of fun cities that are not so clean. So that's a big deal for me. But the food scene is amazing. And you can find people like me around here. I mean,
What more could you want, right?
just saying.
So great. I'll just let you both know right now, I don't feel left out that I'm the only one not from California. I'm okay. I'll be all right.
And we're okay with that, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you for accepting me. So let's move into real estate then again. So with real estate, because you're both a managing broker and an agent, you work with clients, right? So what is it that you love about real estate?
One of the things, well, there's two things I would say the most that I love about real estate. And one would be the more, and the other would be it's impactful. So when I say the more, what I mean by that is there's endless opportunities. Whether you want it to be a property manager, realtor, investor, owning, being a manager, whatever, there's so much opportunities. And I love never being capped out at something, and it's rare. So I love that with real estate. There's just so many pieces of it. But the impactful part is I love that every single human being on this earth is impacted by our industry, by real estate, everybody. And so if a person really desires to be impactful, whether it's with an individual, their community, their city, their state, whatever, their country, this is an industry that you get to do that while having a lot of fun, getting very little sleep, and making a tons of money if that's something you desire to do. So I love that.
I love that. It is so true that there just is endless opportunity and you can make such an impact, in this business. So Kevin talked a bit about you being, an agent, but I know you also are a managing broker, and really specifically, you coach a lot of your agents. So I want to talk about that because obviously both Kevin and I, kind of run in that same vein. What are the challenges or roadblocks you most often help your agents with? And how do you coach them to really push through and push past those challenges?
So when we speak about the coaching part, I would have to say a little something quickly to say there's a difference between coaching and teaching. And I think a lot of people intertwine the two. And so coaching is more allowing a person to have an aha moment and figure it out themselves, but you just kind of lead them to that discovery. Whereas teaching is just doing that teaching. And so when it's newer agents, I do have on a teacher hat a lot. And that's just teaching them things. But as far as a lot of experienced agents, one of the most common things is coaching them to figure out what is keeping them from doing what they already know to do. And a lot of it's just the 6 inches between their ears. It's getting out of their own way. And so that would probably be, if I had to pick one common thing, that would probably be when I put my coach hat on the most with working as a managing broker.
That's great, because that is true, right? Oftentimes it's our own roadblocks internally, and we have to lead folks to figure out what that roadblock is and what's keeping them from moving forward or keeping them in a plateau instead of continuing to grow. So I'm glad you said that. I'm going to borrow the line about the 6 inches between your ears. With that, then, do you feel like being a managing broker has impacted you as an agent and vice versa, meaning being an agent has impacted how you work with agents as a managing broker?
definitely impacted how I work as a managing broker. I am a person who, I say all the time to my agents that I like to get my hands dirty. I want to feel, touch, see. I don't teach theory very much. I like to teach what I know, what I've seen, what I know to be true. And so having been in the field, having worked alongside doing the same things that these agents are doing, I think it gives me a lot of credibility with them. It definitely allows me to be relatable to them and to help me see from their eyes, like what is it they're dealing with? Because I've walked a mile in their shoes, so to speak. As far as on the other end with being an agent, when I have my agent hat on and being a managing broker, I would say that the edge it gives me is confidence, more confidence that I know what I'm bringing, what value I'm bringing to my clients, and confidence sells in this business. And so I think it just really increases that for me.
I love that because I think so much about this business, really is confidence. And I just also love the idea of, you having sold, it really does help agents when you are coaching them or working with them. There's a lot of confidence that they get in talking with you because, to your point, you've walked the walk before. So I want to talk a bit about Plat being one of the newest partners in the At Properties network. I know you and I have talked a lot about it and are really excited for the opportunity to be working together. But what are you most excited for in this partnership? And mum's the word, obviously, the official announcement isn't until October 20th. So for all of you listening, that's when it's officially launched, right? So you tell me, Crystal, what are you most excited about?
I get excited about so many things. If you only let me do one, I would say the win-win. I love the fact that this partnership is a win-win for At Properties as well as for Plat Collective. And as I mentioned before, I love more. And so partnering with At allows Plat to have more. We already have such a strong base of wonderful staff, amazing agents. We have an incredible presence and reputation in our city, like all of those great things. And so to add this amazing technology that we're getting with At Properties, the staff, the expertise, the excellence, like that's just a wonderful thing. But I think for At Properties, it's a win as well, not having to compromise your values, who you are, as you're extending into a marketplace that is very profitable for Chicago. Like they just kind of go together, those markets, with the way the industry is taking us. And so it's a win-win for both. And I love it when both parties can win.
I totally agree. And echoing Amy earlier, the first time we met, Crystal, I felt the same way. And really everyone at Plat, there's this alignment of culture, this alignment of wanting to serve clients, and this alignment of wanting to grow. And so one of the things that Amy and I talk about a lot, and others too, is really, it's the relationships that agents have with their clients that are the base. And then we're the engine. You, Crystal, as a coach, managing broker, a teacher, and then the technology, the marketing, the other coaching and training, we're really the engine behind helping agents sell as much real estate as possible and foster relationships, right? All right, so talking about the industry, Crystal, because you have a unique perspective being an Indy, but also as a managing broker and agent, like we've talked about, within the industry, there's a lot of change happening, right? It's always happening, but what are the aspects of real estate you want to change or you could change if you were able to?
Well, if I could change anything, it would be the way consumers saw realtors, honestly. And the only thing I can really do about that is really working very passionately and intensely with just training and coaching agents to understand and creating a culture of professionalism and excellence. But I do wish that the higher up people who control what is required to become an agent, become a realtor, and so forth, I wish that was a little more intense and that it wasn't an industry that people just looked at as, I'm gonna try some real estate or I'll give it a shot. And so that's just a little thing that's a desire I will probably always have as long as I'm on this earth, but I will always work to try to make it better too.
I love that because I agree with you. I feel like sometimes people think the barrier to entry to get into this business is not that hard. But I think if you ask any particular agent, they know just how complicated and challenging what we do is, and we're really helping people with one of their largest assets. So I think, Crystal, I love your idea, and maybe we'll work on a mission together, because I do feel like it does start with us, though, the agent. I think the more we recognize what we bring to the table and learn to articulate that, then hopefully that helps to educate the consumer and slowly changes the way they do look at us. All right, so I want to talk about predictions. 2022, I feel like it's going to be an interesting, busy, and crazy year, but pull out your crystal ball and tell us in 2022, both in Indy, but in the industry as a whole, what do you think we're going to see?
Wow, well, first of all, crystal ball, I think I need to use that more often. I kind of
yes, you do. I loved it. I didn't even realize it as I was saying it, but yes, you do.
I do believe we're going to start to see a balance in the inventory, the lack of inventory that we have. But unfortunately, I just really don't see the correction in pricing that everyone's kind of waiting for or hoping for. Indications just don't show that. I think that we will still have significant price increases, especially in Indy over the next 10 years, just because of the affordability that I mentioned before. Now, what I do predict, and even more so hope, is that the strategies that buyers are having to use to get their offers accepted, I do see that normalizing some, but just not the continued price increase. I don't see that going away.
Yes, well, we're just going to have to kind of see, right? But I think overall what you're saying, and I think what Kevin and I agree with, is that, next year is going to be busy. So as agents, we got to get out there, be ready to do a great job in representing our clients. Well, Crystal, I wish, honestly, we had all day to chat because I love it when we get the chance to connect with you. And I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And we're really looking forward to seeing you for the grand opening on the 20th. So everyone keep mums the word. Even though this is on YouTube, let's keep it quiet until we do it. And it's going to be very exciting. So Crystal, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. We'd love to have you on again down the road. And one tip, one of my favorite things that I've experienced about Indy is there's a steakhouse called St. Elmo's, right? Well, my favorite thing to do that I learned from somebody else is to take the St. Elmo's cocktail sauce, which is wildly crazy with horseradish, like beyond, and surprise people with it. And then watch their face as their head explodes, like Crystal's doing right now.
You learned very quickly. That was a good one. I need to do that. I like that.
It's good at family parties. Just watch someone dip a shrimp in and just film it from behind the couch and see what their face is like as they take a big scoop.
Right.
All right, everybody, fill up your coffee, make it a great Tuesday, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, team. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Crystal.
Welcome. My pleasure.